sound of a gentle, slow-burning candle crackling. Have you ever caught something out of the corner of your eye? A flicker of movement in a mirror when you're standing perfectly still. Most of us just brush it off, a trick of the light, our minds playing games. But what if it's not a trick? What if the face staring back at you isn't entirely yours? Tonight, we pulling back the curtain on one of the most unsettling fears known to humanity. The fear of the doppelganger, the double, the other you that lives just behind the glass. The story I'm about to tell you is called The Reflection That Blinked. It starts with a woman named Clara who just moved into a new apartment. It was a beautiful place filled with light, a blank canvas for her new life. On her first morning, she stood before the large, ornate bathroom mirror, a relic left by the previous owner. As she brushed her hair, everything felt normal, peaceful even. But then, a tiny detail, so small she almost missed it. She blinked, and a split second later, her reflection blinked back. She froze, staring intently at her own face. Her heart gave a little flutter of unease. "That's weird," she muttered, shaking her head. It had to be fatigue, the stress of moving, a sleepless night. She blinked again, deliberately this time. 1, 2. Her reflection matched her perfectly. "See? Nothing." She laughed it off, a nervous little sound that echoed slightly in the tiled room. It was just her imagination. It had to be, but the feeling lingered. Later that evening, while brushing her teeth, she couldn't shake the unnerving sensation of being watched. She decided to put her mind at ease once and for all. She propped her phone on the counter, hit record, and went through her nightly routine. Her eyes glued to her own image in the mirror. Everything seemed synchronized. She finished, stopped the recording, and played it back, a confident smile on her face. And that's when the smile vanished. In the video, clear as day, there it was. She'd lift her toothbrush, and a fraction of a second later, the reflection would mimic her. She'd spit, and the other her would follow, just a beat behind. It was a subtle, almost imperceptible lag, but it was undeniably there. A cold dread, heavy and suffocating, settled in her stomach. It wasn't the lighting. It wasn't a trick of the angle. She looked up from her phone, back at the mirror. Her reflection stared back, its expression neutral, just like hers. But the eyes felt different, deeper, wiser. She felt a primal urge to smash the glass, to shatter that other face into 1,000 pieces. But she was paralyzed, caught in its unblinking gaze. Sleep offered no escape that night. Clara was plagued by nightmares of being trapped, of watching her own life from a distance, unable to speak or move. She woke up in a cold sweat around 3 a.m., the silence of her apartment feeling heavy and menacing. A faint, ethereal glow was seeping from under the bathroom door. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Every instinct screamed at her to stay in bed, to hide under the covers until morning. But a terrifying curiosity, a need to know, pulled her to her feet. She crept towards the bathroom, her hand shaking as she pushed the door open. The glow was coming from the mirror itself, a soft, pulsating light. She stood in the doorway, frozen, as she watched the impossible happen. Her reflection, fully illuminated in the darkened room, was there, but its back was to her. It was looking into the depths of the mirror, at a world she couldn't see. And then it turned slowly and began to walk away, deeper into the mirror's silvered plane. But Clara hadn't moved. She was still standing by the door, a statue carved from fear. A scream tore from her throat, raw, and desperate, but the figure in the mirror made no sound. It simply stopped, turned its head, and looked directly at her. And as Clara's face was contorted in pure terror, her reflection smiled. It wasn't her smile. It was a slow, deliberate, and chillingly triumphant grin. It was the smile of something that had been waiting a very, very long time. From that night on, things escalated. She would be in the kitchen and catch a glimpse of the reflection in the bathroom mirror moving on its own. It would raise a hand or tilt its head, an independent being living a parallel life just feet away. She covered the mirror with a sheet, but the feeling of being watched never left. She started to feel like she was losing her mind, her own identity blurring. Was she the one outside the mirror? Or was she the one trapped inside, looking out? The end came quietly. The next morning, her friend, Sarah, came to visit. Concerned after a series of frantic, garbled texts from Clara, she knocked on the apartment door. No answer. She used the spare key Clara had given her. "Clara, you in here?" The apartment was silent. The living room was tidy, the kitchen empty. A sense of unease crept over Sarah as she noticed the sheet taped over the bathroom mirror. She called Clara's name again. Nothing. Hesitantly, she walked into the bathroom. It was empty. Confused and worried, she reached out and pulled the sheet away from the mirror. For a moment, she just saw her own concerned face staring back. And then, behind her reflection, another figure appeared. It was Clara. Her face was pale, her eyes wide with silent, unending horror. She was pounding on the glass, her mouth open in a scream that made no sound. She was inside, trapped. Just then, the apartment's front door opened and closed. "Sarah, is that you?" The voice was Clara's. Sarah spun around to see her friend standing there, dressed and ready for the day, a bright, easy smile on her face. "I was just grabbing a coffee," the reflection, now Clara, said, her voice smooth as silk. "Everything okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." She walked past Sarah, not even glancing at the mirror, her smile never wavering. She was finally free, so the next time you look in a mirror, take a closer look. Watch your eyes. Make sure they blink when you do, because you never know who or what is watching from the other side, waiting for its chance to switch places. Check your reflection before it checks you. Thank you so much for joining me in the shadows tonight. If this story sent a chill down your spine, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the dark. Stay safe and always be mindful of what stares back.